Hey guys, Juno Zero, how you doing? I hope all is well in YouTube land, whatever part of the world that you are in. So folks said they'd like to see our stoves and how we heat our house and how we have our kitchen here set up. The kitchen stuff we will go over in a later video, but it's just pretty much the ovens and the grill and our rocket stoves and stuff, and we made a lot of videos with them cooking. But give me a day or so and we'll go over some of them. Hello, buddy. And we are looking at our heat exchange. Well, what we call the heat exchanger. The first one that I built was out of a barrel, and a lot of you guys that's been around for a while remember that. This here is an old furnace that my buddy David brought me from a house they were taking down in Ashland, and it's a wood and / coal furnace. It's an actual furnace, but it does the same thing as the heat exchanger did, meaning that inside here, let me get onto the porch. This is just it's a regular kind of wood burning stove, and then around it, it's got the box, and then this has got the pre-drilled stuff for the ductwork, and it has two to vent ducts, but I've only using the one, and I've got the heat comes out through the top here, and then it goes into the house right through there. And then the other one is a return. This furnace came with an air return, and it has actually a little fan that once the air gets to 80 degrees, it kicks on the little fan. Fan blows in, up and around, and it blows the air into the house, and it helps. Yeah, it really does help as far as moving warm air into the house. It does a good job. The old one didn't have a fan on it, but it still moved a lot of heat into the house, even without the fan, just the fact of it where it was drafting up. So this stove here, it's been a blessing. It's been wonderful, and it's serving us very well. There's no smoke that gets into the house. All the smoke goes up through the smokestack there, out of the back of the actual burn box. The basic how this thing works is this burn box here is cast iron, and it gets really hot, the box it does, and then inside the box here, all the air that's inside the box gets hot from the burn, from the iron of the box there, and then the hot air rises and it goes up into the house, and now it's assisted by a fan. And then we have the ash, cleaning out the ashes there, and over here on the side there's a couple little holes that act as a damper, and it pulls air in from there as well for the keep the air circulating, where you can keep nice airflow into the house, and it does a wonderful job. It does a wonderful job, and as you can see, we just cut firewood, and with the exception of the fan, it doesn't use any electricity, and if the power is out, there's still a lot of heat just by the simple fact that heat rises and it drafts, and as it starts drafting, it makes a pretty good current of airflow. That makes a pretty good airflow going up into the house. And we've been using the heat exchanger now for 6 or 7 years, and I will leave a link in the description box to the original one that I built from a barrel, and it served us very well for many years, and we just kind of was blessed enough to be upgraded. So, and like I said, we will talk about the ovens in a later video. We'll cook something in it, and I'll make a video about the ovens, and it's pretty simple. Just put an oven down and put a fire underneath it, and it cooks. So let's go in the house now, and we'll take a look at our new little fireplace insert, which is I got it from Silverfire stoves because I love all things Silverfire. It's very high quality stuff, and it's called the Tiny House Dragon. But let's go in there and take a look at it, and we'll see it in action here soon. All right, guys, I want to show you the inside of the window. We just we took the screen out of the window, and then we cut this piece of plywood out to fit, and we've got this is where the warm air comes in, and that is the exchange or the return, where it goes down and makes a big loop. Eventually, I'd like to maybe route this thing where it goes underneath the house and actually hooks into the ductwork system of the house, where it uses the vents in the house to blow the warm out air, or the warm air out. But We're just not there yet as far as having the materials and stuff that we need. No, it does not overheat our fish tank. I know there's going to be somebody concerned about my little catfish there, but he's just fine. And as far as the air that comes in, it's warm, but it's not, you know, stupid hot. It's not going to scorch anything as it comes in. And it's out further than the return is, so the return is not sucking this air either. As far as it, you know, sucking in the warm air that's coming out of here. I'll show you. It's sticking out a little bit further. So this air is coming way out, and this air here is pulling it. It mainly comes in like this. So, all right, let's go take a look at the insert of the fireplace. Now, the reason that I originally put a fireplace insert in the fireplace is because, you know, the fireplace looks really cool, man. Whenever you got it going, it looks awesome. It's a decorative fireplace. That's exactly what it's for. It gives ambiance, if you will, to the room. But I'm not an ambiance kind of dude at all, not even a little. I want heat. And the fireplace is just terrible as a heat source. Most of the heat goes right up the chimney and outside, and you don't get, it gets a little bit, but it doesn't get a whole lot of heat, you know, coming from the fireplace itself. So that's the reason why, doing a little bit of research here and talking with the Silverfire dude, I told him what I was looking for, and this is right now the best option, and it works fantastic. So, and it gives us what we want, which is heat. So, let's go have a look at it. Alrighty, this little stove that we're using as a fireplace insert is called the Silverfire Tiny House Dragon. Hopefully we've got enough light in here. This is the decorative fireplace that is in my bedroom towards the back end of the house. And this little stove is what we use kind of like as an insert. It's not really an insert, but we have it going up into the chimney of the existing fireplace to vent out the smoke. Last year we tried one of those tent dragon, and it's a multi-purpose stove. It had a little oven and some stuff like that in it, and it was really cool, but it had a really small burn box, about the half of the size of this burn box here. Now granted, this is not a big stove at all. It's pretty small, but this thing cranks out a lot of heat. And even though it's pretty small, it still weighs like 80 pounds. It's solid cast iron construction, and it's just got it's just a really well designed stove. It gasifies as it burns, which is why I think it puts out so much heat. But it heats up this entire end of the house. This little stove here does. It's got 4-inch ductwork that you need to buy and put onto it. 4 inches. He doesn't send out any of the chimney pipe or anything like that, because every place that's going to have one of these is going to be different. So it's simple. Just go to any of your big box stores and get some 4-inch stovepipe and get her hooked up. I've got a fire built, but it's not lit in here. It's got this little tray here for the ashes. It makes it easy to clean. It's got this damper underneath, and it's got another damper on the side over here. And again, it's got the removable top here on top. Let me get my little kettle out of the way. I keep a kettle on here to make steam for humidity. And we have our little fan right here. This fan doesn't plug in. And Bear for Freedom sent us this fan a couple years back, and I'm not sure how it works, but it gets hot and the fan turns on and it moves air. It's really wild, and we use it all the time. You can see it's got, if you want to put it a skillet or a pot or something on top to cook with, you can. And I don't know how he does it, but I mean, there's no smoke that comes out of that hole. It's got a hole in the top of the stove and it doesn't smoke. I don't know. Todd has got some wonderful designs. Silverfire comes up with some great stuff. We just burn whatever in here. These couple of boxes have got, you know, some construction scraps and little chunks of 2x4, little chunks of flooring. And then as we're splitting our big wood for the big burner outside, you know, you always get them little chunks that fall off as you're splitting. That is what we burn in this thing. And it's awesome. I can't say enough good things about it. The Tent Dragon was awesome stove as well. But this one here, if you're looking for strictly a heating source, this one is a better option in my opinion. So give me a second. I'll clean up the glass there because we've been using it. And we'll see you in action here in a little bit. Alright, there's our little stove in action. I don't know if I'll be able to get the camera angle. It doesn't look like I'm going to where you can see it gasifying up around the top edge of the stove here. There's gasifiers that burns up all the extra gases and stuff that's in the smoke, so you get the most heat. But you see our little fan going there, pushing some air. It'll get going a little bit faster the hotter that it gets. But this little stove, like I said, it really cranks out a lot of heat, and it heats up this whole end of the house here, which is probably close to, I don't know, maybe 700, 800 square feet, roughly running there. And it does a great job of warming it up. And sometimes it gets a little too warm, and you gotta let it die down a little bit. But just with some scraps we have laying around, some pallets, and any little bit of chunks of wood, you know, after a windstorm goes through, pick up the sticks and stuff. And these are the two things that we use to heat our home throughout the wintertime, and especially whenever there's no power, if a storm comes through. But other than that, they just do a great job of keeping our house warm and keeping our energy bills down in the wintertime. So I will leave a link to the Silverfire website with this stove here and where I got mine. I'm not sure who the manufacturer is of the furnace that we have outside. I don't know who the manufacturer is on that. So those are one of those things that you just kind of stumble across every once in a while whenever you're taking down old places. You find cool stuff and you put it to use. So there you go, guys. That's how we heat our house in the wintertime. I hope that helps. You guys, thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a great rest of the day. God bless. Ian.
Buzz, buzz, the end.